always excited about this show. We're still new. We're kind of in our infancy. But this one in particular, I've got two of my favorite people in here. I've got Mike Ward and we have Haylye Glaus with us because today we are talking about travel, because it's not just about wine. It's all the places you can go to see it being harvested, to actually sip it there on the property. How excited are you about this, Mike Ward?
I am super excited. This is going to be such a fun show. And, you know, I always kind of say, of course, I love traveling and visiting wineries and vineyards. Mm-hmm. But, you know, the nice thing is where you grow grapes are some of the most beautiful places in the planet. So I'm pretty lucky that, you know, I don't have to go to Antarctica. Nothing wrong with Antarctica, but we can't grow grapes there. So, you know, I'm sure it's beautiful, but I get to go to Italy and Spain and France and Germany, and that's pretty nice.
Well, let's bring in Haylye Glaus with Altair Travel and Cruises. Haylye, it is always great to see you.
You too. Thank you guys for having me.
You just got back from a fun Disney vacation with your little one, JR. How was that?
Yes, a little bit different than, you know, I'm a Waterways River cruise, but it was magical.
Yeah.
It was. So.
And is JR 2?
JR is not even 2.
Okay.
So he'll be 2 in January. So I was telling Mike, you know, before the show, that was cool for me as a parent and as a travel agent to kind of see, you know, how Disney does this and handles, you know, when I am bringing not even a 2-year-old onto a cruise ship. And so, but Disney just does it right. I mean, I didn't have to pack a pack and play. I didn't have to pack a diaper genie.
They have all of that?
They have the sheets. Yes, you request it all up front, and then they provide that. So we walked into our cabin. Everything was set up for us. They can provide baby food. Not that he's doing that anymore, but they gave us whole milk every time we asked for it. They had their high chairs and the boosters set up every time we went to dinner. So they make it as easy as possible for parents to have a good time too, because that's important.
How nice is it that you didn't have to pack and like a pack mule and carry all that stuff in?
Exactly. And we went in the night before, which we always recommend with any type of trip, especially when you're leaving on a cruise the next day. And we stayed at the cruise was sailed out of Port Canaveral, so you fly into Orlando. We stayed at the Hyatt Regency Orlando Hotel, which is like a partner with Disney, and they provided a crib too. So like we were just like smooth sailing from the minute we got there. But like I said, Disney does it right. The shows are Broadway quality, so they were amazing. They had Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and then the other show was just kind of a compilation of all the different characters with music.
Would you say JR is at a good age for this?
I would say he's a little young.
Okay.
But he loved the shows, so he sat there through the entire hour of a show.
Oh, that's impressive.
The characters he thought were amazing from afar. Got a little nervous when we got close. They had this splash pad that was perfect for him. He's very into Toy Story right now, so it was a Toy Story themed splash pad, and he could have spent hours on end there. So, yes, I think he was a little young, but there was still so much
that
for
he
him
could
to do, and he loved it. You know, he probably won't remember it, but I'll remember it. My husband will remember it. My parents were on there; they'll remember it. So.
Sometimes
it was
it's
just
for
special.
us.
Sometimes, sometimes it's just for us. So it was very special to take him on his kind of his first cruise.
Well, let's share a little bit about you, because you probably went on your first cruise when you were 2 or 3.
I did, yeah. So actually, my very first cruise, I was 1.
Oh.
I don't even know if I was JR's age, like where he is now. And it was an Alaskan cruise, and my mom took me and my grandma.
Yeah.
So I was in Alaska at the age of 1, and then I did do 2 Disney cruises, and they actually showed my year when I pulled up and booked this cruise. I think it was like in 1999 and 2009, and that was both with my mom and my grandma too. So, so I don't remember Alaska, but I do remember the Disney cruises. But it's just, we talk about this constantly, but it's just so special traveling with your family.
Yeah.
And it was just really special having my parents with us and just watching them like be grandparents and enjoy that.
Speaking of grandparents, just to kind of give people a background on you, I mean, your grandmother, Pat Blassie, started Altair Travel and Cruises how many years ago now? 40?
I think we're maybe at 50 or 51.
Yeah.
I mean, we're close. But yeah, so my grandmother, Pat, started the business, and she kind of instilled that love of travel in me. And my mom now, who is running Altair, and she's the president.
And you are the
And I'm the vice president. Yes,
Don't
yes.
sell yourself short.
But yeah, I grew up, seeing this love of travel and, seeing my grandma just so passionate about bringing us to these places. And now I'm seeing, my mom the exact same way. And it's just special.
Yeah.
So it means a lot. And so I highly recommend a Disney cruise. I have all the tips for anyone bringing a kid. And there are lots of like little things, that you want to know. And by using a travel agent, we can
help with
you
all
know
that.
those things. So.
Let's talk about us, because we're basically kids in a candy store when it comes to wine. And there are so many fantastic tours you can take in wine country, and not just here in the States. Is it a pretty popular destination for you guys when you're selling things?
It is. Anything that's merging you like into the destination, into the culture, has just become so popular.
That's interesting.
And I feel like people are not only just wanting to go to a destination to, yes, the Colosseum is amazing. Yes, the Vatican is amazing. But like, they want to go to someone's home. They want to go to a local farm and watch them cook and try the food and go out to the gardens and help harvest it. So people are wanting to still do those history things and, see the big ticket items, but they really want to meet the locals and immerse themselves into a culture that they're not familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask you just briefly, and it kind of ties in with the conversation about visiting wineries. Disney, we just talked about, they employ some of the best chefs in the world.
Oh, good point.
So, I'm sure, or I'll ask you how the cuisine was on the boat. But do you also find, as an extension of that people are looking for going to specific restaurants that might be a destination tied in with some wineries they can visit and things like that? Is the culinary world?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we get asked a lot, like, do you have dinner recommendations or restaurant recommendations? And we do, but it's also, I always want to be careful with that because things change, constantly. So I never want to recommend something that maybe I knew about a year ago because things change. So what we always do and what we recommend, if you're not booking with us, but if you're, booking a trip, to reach out to the hotel that you're staying with and the local concierge, if you don't have like a tour operator that you're working with, and ask them because they're the ones with the boots on the ground, and they're going to know if, maybe there was a change of ownership in the last 6 months.
And it's just different. It's not
just
as
different.
good.
Yeah. But people, that's a huge question that we get. And we actually have a document that we keep at the office of restaurant recommendations so that if another agent needs something, we can do our best, but we always kind of caveat it with talk to the concierge too, and we'll help them do that beforehand.
Yeah. If you're just joining us here on Uncorked with Ward on Wine and Heidi Glaus, you're also hearing Haylye Lux, who is VP at Altair Travel and Cruises, and we wanted to bring her on because travel to wineries and, like we were talking with the culinary arts, has become a really big thing. And Mike and I were able to take a cruise 2-3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And got to go into the vineyards. Tell people about that fantastic cruise.
It was great, wasn't
it? It was fantastic.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, when you're traveling to some place where they make wine, you're in one of the most beautiful places on the earth, and also the history is so amazing. So when we went on our cruise, Ama Waterways, Altair Travel, certainly instrumental in helping us set that up. It couldn't have done it without you, could say.
Well, we can't do it without you.
Right.
You're the expert in the wine. We're the expert in the travel.
But one of the things that we were able to do, we were in the Rhone region, Rhone Valley, north of Avignon, south of Lyon, in central eastern France, north of the Mediterranean. And we were in the vineyards. The vineyards are right there on the side of the looking out the boat. They're right there, right on the shore, and these terraced vineyards. And I was able to teach a class there. And I still think back, like, how did I'm not worthy to do that. You know, how did I was able to do that? You guys set that up for us. Obviously, I can teach wine classes, so that put me in that situation. I think the people there loved it. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got to go and we got to see the big vats and got to see it on the grapes on the vine. And then we got to actually open up a bottle and sample it right there, which is so fantastic because you really, like you were saying, Haylye, you get to meet the people. So I want to talk a little bit more because it's not just wine. I've been to the Bourbon Trail and absolutely love that. What are clients asking for? Are they asking about Napa and Sonoma? Are they asking about local wineries? Are they asking about the Bourbon Trail over in Kentucky?
I would say we get a handful. I wouldn't say a ton of people are reaching out about trips like that, just because I do believe, especially the local wineries, people feel like they can
do it on
their own.
Yeah,
and there are local companies that do local, Missouri type tours. So yes, we get a handful, and yes, we can still help. We work with suppliers that can help us put together, the transportation, the hotels, the tastings, and basically make it as the experience that you want, make it customized to what you're interested in and what you're looking for. So yes, we do get that, but I would say majority of the requests for wineries, distilleries is going to be when people are traveling internationally.
Got it.
And we definitely have, the contacts for that, and we can really do whatever someone wants to do. I mean, people, the contacts that we have, they have the relationships over there, and they can make things happen. So you can visit a specific winery that you might have in mind, or you can, go to someone's house and cook a local meal, and
So really, if you are setting up an appointment with Altair Travel and Cruises, ask for the world, you might actually get it. That's all it starts with.
I mean, I can't say we can do everything, but we have the relationships and the people to ask, and so we'll do our very darn best, to make it happen.
I mean, we're probably not going to get onto George Clooney's property in Italy.
Probably not.
Okay.
Unless you're willing to spend quite a bit of money.
And
That's out
then
then.
a possibility.
And then a possibility.
I had someone just ask me about the Bourbon Trail, so I want to ask you about this because they were setting up a weekend, and it was sort of a birthday celebration and a small group going, but then they said, we got on some websites because there's some distilleries we wanted to go to, and they're all booked. So, I said, that's something you have to take into consideration, that you got to make an appointment with one of these distilleries. So if you want to go, you can help them with a certain part of it, the hotel recommendations and lodging, transportation.
Yes.
But this was the problem. They were getting on several websites, Buffalo Trace, and I think Maker's Mark, and a few others of the larger ones, and that date was out already. And I was having a hard time. I would just tell them to come to you, but you have to get in so far in advance in some of these things, and it could possibly ruin your trip if you're not thinking about it.
You definitely need time. You can't call us and say next week I want to do that, because that's just not realistic. But my husband, for his, I think it was his bachelor party, they went to the Bourbon Trail, and they handled their accommodations. It was a bunch of guys. They went to an Airbnb. They all drove there, but he was like, we're looking for a guide and a bus because we don't want to. And he was like, can you help? And I reached out to this company that we work with, Tours by Locals, and they pulled about 3 or 4 local guides in that area. None of the tours were specifically what he was looking for, but I reached out to an individual that was a tour guide and, had done plenty of tours, and told him, this is a bachelor party, this is how many guys, this is what they want to do. And then he set it all up. So that's where, you can reach out to us, because we can come in. It might not be exactly what that guy was offering on a piece of paper, but doesn't mean I can ask if you can change or deviate and offer this or that.
Well, and to your point, Mike, I know when we were at the Bourbon Trail, people might forget that some of these distilleries are massive. Maker's Mark is just acres and acres. And at the time, they also had a Chihuly glass exhibit
it's beautiful.
going on.
It's
So
incredible.
even people that aren't maybe in to the bourbon, they're going for another reason. So you really have to stay on top of things because there's other events going on along the bourbon trail as well. It's not just making that, tasting.
And you need a driver because
Absolutely.
if you set up your appointment, you're going to taste at least 6 whiskeys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most people taste them and drink the whole thing. So you have to. I did an industry trip. It was a work trip, but I did it for research.
Right.
And one time we were at a distillery, this was a few years ago, and they set up a tasting for us, and there were 24 different whiskeys that we were tasting. Now, if you
Delicious.
consumed all that, I wasn't driving, but you got to be careful. So transportation and making sure you're going to the right places and time too, because you set up, maybe a 10 a.m. appointment, then you're going to have lunch, then you have your 2 o'clock appointment. You've got to be there. If you miss that, you might miss out. So scheduling these things ahead of time, it's just not a place where you can, in Napa Valley it's the same way, where you can just show up and expect somebody to take care of you.
Right.
Yeah, so true. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have more here with Haylye Lux, Vice President at Altair Travel and Cruises. I want to talk about kind of some of the history-related trips in Europe, because a lot of people want to go maybe to one winery or vineyard, but then there's so many other things to do. So we'll talk about that with Haylye Lux here in a second. You're listening to Uncorked with Word on Wine and Heidi Glaus on the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis. When we talk about wine, there's so much history in winemaking and how long it's been around and how much more delicious it is than it probably was 500 years ago. And so we brought in Haylye Lux, Vice President, Altair Travel and Cruises. And Mike, I know you got a question from a guy that we've both traveled with. I have no idea how many trips Rick has gone on.
He's a frequent.
He's a great client of
flyer.
Altair's.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's a good friend.
He's a good guy, but he wanted to know what exactly.
Well, he does a lot of the World War II battlefield commemorative trips.
Okay.
And he's a wine lover. And so he was asking me, can you set it up where you kind of do both? And also, in addition to this, when we were on our Germany trip and we did the 3 days before the pre-trip, we went to Champagne, and I would recommend it to anybody. Champagne is unbelievable. And we went to one of the historic wineries, and then we also went to the World War I U.S. military
how cool.
cemetery. So you are kind of like getting both, because Champagne is a major wine region and also was a battlefield in World War I. So, that's kind of, you really can customize it, or how would that work?
You can customize it. If we're talking specific to, this is any trip, but specific to a river cruise, and let's just say AMA Waterways, because that's what both of you guys have done.
And love.
And they do a wonderful job.
do.
Throughout the trip, they offer a handful of tours that you can choose from on a daily basis.
And they're included.
It's
not
Yes.
like you're paying extra for it, which is, I think, amazing.
For sure. And they offer, more culinary experiences, and they offer castle hikes and castle visits and local city tours. And it might look up front like you need to choose one or the other, but there's times where you can do both, and we can accommodate that. And maybe if AMA Waterways can't accommodate that, but we know that you're going to be in port until 10 p.m., well, we also work with companies that just help us booking individual tours. So we can, you can do your city tour in the morning with AMA, and then in the evening we can set up, maybe a wine and culinary tour with another company. If AMA can't accommodate those two times, which sometimes they can't. And then I think the importance of doing a pre and post to your trips.
I would say the first trip I ever went on with your grandmother, Pat Blassie, I still, I have videos of it. I love every minute of it. We went to Amsterdam. And this is what I learned immediately from traveling with Altair Travel and Cruises. If I would have done this on my own, I probably would have laid on the couch for a second when I got there because we were so tired. And one of the agents said, no, you can't sleep right now. We need to go see X, Y, and Z. We want to go to the Wright Museum. She's like, you don't want to miss this. We want to go to Anne Frank's house. This is when we're going to go do all this. Now, we still had to the next day in Amsterdam, but traveling with Altair Traveling Cruises, who had already been there, they're like, you have got to see this. And then maybe my most favorite memory, because the Reich was amazing. Anne Frank's house is something I will never, ever forget. But then your grandmother took us to the red light district that night, and it was absolutely amazing. But those things weren't on the itinerary.
Right.
Those are things that you guys helped us with, and probably the best part of the trip.
Yeah, and that's, what I love about our job is, and that's what my grandma taught me, was the importance of the conversations that you have
Yep.
with people and the clients, and getting someone on the phone. Like, not just, yes, we can go back and forth via email, but really knowing what someone wants and what they love and what is going to make this trip unforgettable for them, because not every itinerary is going to include that.
Yeah.
And so when you have the conversations and you learn their likes and what they're passionate about, we can really make a trip special and customized to you.
And you
I
can
think that's what my
stay-
grandma was best at.
You can stay a couple days prior. You can stay a couple days after. How important is that when you look at booking a trip?
Yeah, so definitely, the questions we ask is how much time do you have and your budget. Not everyone has the same budget. So
Right.
we do recommend, like, if you're doing a river cruise or an ocean cruise or even just a tour that has a set start date, we do want you to go in the day before. We all know the way of the world with flights and
We don't want to
weather,
push
and
it.
we don't want to risk you, not getting on the boat or missing a day of touring that with that group. So we definitely recommend at least one day, but depending on time and budget and what you want to see, 2 or 3 nights can be great. Usually at the end of a trip, someone is ready to go home.
Yeah.
Vacation is wonderful, but home is home. You're always ready to get back. So it's a little bit more rare, I would say,
For the
for the
post?
post to be extensive.
Got it.
Unless you're getting off a cruise and it's somewhere you've never been to, and it's important for you to explore that area. But yeah, it's important though, because we don't want you to miss any part of your trip.
Yeah, and I think what's best is that you can do anything for anybody, because I know when we went on the cruise in Portugal, which was fantastic, and we did both, the pre and the post. But during the post trip, we had a couple of things, like I had a winery set up that I wanted to go to, which was fantastic. After 3 hours, Mary looked at me and said, "Would you stop asking questions?" Of course, and I couldn't help myself. But you had that time afterwards where you're thinking, here's some extra things that we can do. Or even if it's just relax for a day or half a day and kind of take it all in, or before you go back. So you do have that option.
You have the option, yeah. And a lot of times I feel like at the end of a trip, you have been going.
Yeah.
So it's nice to, maybe you're ending in Barcelona or Rome and just enjoy, walk around, enjoy some
See it
local
on your
food. Yeah,
own.
just take a day at leisure.
Yeah. I know that we're kind of talking about wine and spirits, but I'm about to go to Costa Rica. And one of the things we're going to do is go to a coffee plantation and actually see how, the bean to your coffee cup. I mean, there are so many things when it comes to food and drink that you can kind of immerse yourself into.
It's endless. And I'm constantly learning. I have good clients. They're actually my grandma's clients, and now they're mine, that I was working with last week, and they're doing a Peru and Galapagos trip. And before, they want to go to Buenos Aires. And, part of that itinerary is visiting a working farm where they can, go horseback riding, work in the farm, and, I think there's a Michelin star restaurant there, so they can see the farm to table experience. So every destination if you are looking for that, agritourism experience,
which has
we
become
can find it.
really popular as far as that goes. I know something else that you guys have coming up, and maybe it includes sipping a little scotch. Discover Scotland is coming up, and you can learn more about that Tuesday, November 11th at 6 p.m. I'm sure you guys kind of want to get an idea and have people register.
Please,
but do you know what that's going to look like? Will you get to sip some scotch?
Oh, I'm sure. Yes. Yeah, definitely. And we have a couple Ireland trips going in the spring, and that'll be, the Guinness and
Yes.
Jameson.
and the Jameson, yes, all the things. So I just feel like every destination offers some
something.
sort of, food and drink.
Where is your number one destination that people want to go? Is there one that just sticks out?
I mean, Italy is never going to not be a number one.
Yeah.
Every year, it's just year after year, people want to see and do Italy. And it's not people just going for the first time. It's, last time we went, we did Rome, Florence, Venice. Now we want to see the Amalfi Coast, or now we want to really immerse ourselves into Tuscany, or we want to go to Lake Como. Italy's huge. You can't really see all of Italy in one trip. But this year, I feel like Spain and Portugal have
big.
been really, really popular. Every year's a little different. I mean, we do lots of African safaris, which is fun.
Oh, gosh. And I think your grandma's absolute favorite
That
was the
her
safari.
favorite. Yes. So I got to get myself there someday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say Spain and Portugal as
yeah.
kind of this 2025 year has been busy.
And I would say the other one, and I just, talking to you over the years, you always say you could go back to Alaska.
Yes. Oh, Alaska is so beautiful. And that was, I did that as a cruise, which we highly recommend.
Because you get to see more
you get
of
to
it
see
that way?
more.
Okay.
You get to see more. And then with the cruises, you get to add land on either side. So you can go, deeper into the Denali or the Yukon. And really the only way to there's not a whole lot of companies that just do Alaska by land. So when you're booking a cruise, the cruise lines have contracts and, this space with the trains that you're taking, the luxury trains you're taking into the Denali. And they own the lodges that are in Denali. So it's harder to do land
on your own.
for sure.
That's very interesting and good to know.
Yeah, but Alaska is always hot, and it's a destination for everyone. I feel like couples just go. We got a request today for a 38th wedding anniversary, and they just want to do Alaska. But then we do families going to Alaska. We do friends going to Alaska. So when we went, it was a multi-gen. My grandma, my family. I think my sister was. She was in grades. She had to be 13 maybe. So everyone enjoys it. And it's
There's
active
something for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
What if I called you and said, "Can you set up a sake trip in Japan? Could you do that?"
we could do it. I don't know
Okay.
a whole lot about it, but we could do it. Yeah,
All right.
I do think we could do it.
Might
You know
be
what?
in the future.
Kelly Jackson is in Japan as we speak.
Is she?
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
She is. And she'll probably, I think they definitely had a tea ceremony planned
Yeah.
at some point, and she'll probably try a little sake while she's there. Haylye, before we let you get out of here, and we really appreciate you
thank
joining
you
us
guys.
today, I want to make sure that people understand the group travel that you guys do, because so often maybe you're a widow, maybe you have you've just been single your whole life, but you want to get out there and you want to see things and do things. And the group travel that you guys offer, you might get on the plane and not know a soul, but you're coming back with probably 25 or 30 friends. And it's something that Altair Travel and Cruises does really well. Explain group travel and the way you guys kind of tackle it.
Well, first, we couldn't do the groups that we do, without people like Mike and without, you guys in 550 KTRS, because that's, we have to have these partnerships to put these trips together. But what I think is so special about them is you can go to a lot of these tour companies and you can join a group, you can travel with a group, but they're going to be from all across the world, which you may want, but these groups are really a lot. I mean, it's St. Louis based, and it's people that just want the comfort of traveling with, local people in a local travel agency, and knowing that someone is going to be there every step of the way.
Yeah, you're not ever alone.
No.
And the other thing that I think you guys do so well is you have the document party before. So you're going to get to know a couple of people before you actually leave on that trip, or you have kind of an informative gathering prior. So it's not like you're going in, completely blind.
No. Rarely you're going to show up and, just be meeting someone. Yeah, so we have these document parties. So we'll even sometimes before the document party, when we have a group that we're putting together, we'll have an event just to come and learn about it and see if it's something that is, of interest to you. So we have those. Then if you decide to book, yes, we'll have the document party where you come, meet everyone that is officially going on the trip, learn about the trip, and then you're showing up to the airport with people that you already have relationships with, and then you come back even closer. And many, many, many of our trips are just people that continue to travel with one another. And
so let me just get this straight. If someone is a single traveler, then they can feel comfortable. You'll take care of them, all the details. They'll meet friends along the way. Because I knew somebody that did this on a Christmas cruise, and they were very nervous going into it. But you're okay with a single traveler.
I think, yeah. If we have a group trip on our website, and if you go to our website, we actually just redid our website a little bit. So you'll just scroll down a little bit. You'll
AltairTravel.com.
Yes, you'll see featured trips. And if there's a destination that's of interest to you, those trips, 95% of those trips, some of them won't be hosted by a St. Louis agent, so you just have to ask us specifically. But we'll have an Altair agent on it, and we'll have a large group of St. Louis people that are traveling together. And some of those being singles as well. It's not all couples.
And I will say, we took my mother-in-law on one trip. She is Facebook friends with 10 people that she met. She still is in contact. I mean, it really is making friends when you get on one of these trips. And the other thing that I think is so fun and you guys do so well, you usually have a familiar face, not just somebody at Altair, but I know that Martin Kilcoyne is going to do the Discover Scotland. McGraw is constantly doing trips.
McGraw's doing Disney cruises.
Yeah, nowadays. Yeah. So lots of fun to be had, and you're never alone when you travel with Altair Travel.
You'll be with Heidi Glaus in Costa Rica in a month. So, and I know my mom's very much looking forward to that. And I love Costa Rica, so you guys are going to have a wonderful time.
I was actually looking this morning at just some of the sunset pictures and
beautiful.
Okay, where are we going to be here? Okay, countdown is on. We're actually less than 2 weeks. So it's going to be so much fun.
That's
Haylye,
crazy.
Thank you so much for joining us. It is always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you guys both.
Yeah, and again, you can learn more at altairtravel.com. Well, obviously, there are so many places to see in this big, beautiful world, but there's a lot of fun events happening in St. Louis. Now we've got Halloween in the rear view. It is full on fall, and it finally feels like it. You can put on your sweater and your jacket, get out by the
it's red wine weather.
Campfire. And, have a nice glass of wine. Maybe you want to dip into a little bourbon, but there's a lot going on. And let's talk. I mean, before you know it, it's Thanksgiving. And that is probably, you correct me if I'm wrong, your happiest day of the year because you have so many different foods to pair wine with.
We're going to be talking about Thanksgiving a lot, but remember, to everybody listening, 2 glasses for each person on that table for everybody over 21 that's drinking wine, because it's not a single wine holiday.
It is.
You got to have a couple of wines open on that table.
If somebody is just joining us and they haven't listened to us on Fridays, which we've been doing now for 5 years, there is something to setting your Thanksgiving table and the wines that you're going to pair with. And you always say, you kind of got to start with the appetizers.
Yeah, and you got to start early too. So we are right in the wheelhouse of Thanksgiving. You think, it's a few weeks away, but we got to start thinking about it now. You're going to be out purchasing those wines. Think about the actual dinner. And even if you have a traditional dinner, there's so many different flavor profiles, sauces, types of meat. Now we think turkey, sure, is your protein, but you might have something else. Side dishes. And side dishes are the key for me of where that pairing needs to come from.
Okay, so let's talk. If we've just got turkey and we've got some mashed potatoes and gravy, what is our go-to wine?
Well, here's the nice thing about it. You can do white and red with that.
Okay.
Even on those simplistic levels, you can do a white and a red wine. You could have traditionally Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. But if you don't like Chardonnay, you can do a Sauvignon Blanc, Sauvi B, or Pinot Grigio. You can kind of do what you want. What I think we could talk about, and we're going to be doing a lot of Thanksgiving programming, is, what do I do about sweet wine? What do I do about dry wine? I think that's kind of a key because it can change, depending on what you're serving, can change that sweetness level that you might want to serve.
Okay, let's say we are having Thanksgiving dinner at noon. And people are going to come over around 11. Do you start with a Bloody Mary or a mimosa, or do you go straight for maybe you have some cheeses and some fruit out and you go straight for like a wine?
Yeah, I think you start with a mimosa. Bloody Mary's okay too, but remember that Bloody Mary's not going to pair with the cheese that you put out.
Got it.
So depending
the mimosa
will do fine, and maybe have some other options as well. And I think, let me ask you this question too, because what about when you have family coming over, or you are going to someone's house and that might not know what people are bringing? Are they going to bring that green bean casserole that people aren't really going to like? Have you ever thought about that, or do you bring a bottle of wine when you go somewhere?
I don't cook. Have you seen the memes on Instagram or Facebook where it's somebody standing over a stove and they have a couple bottles of wine and they're stirring it and then they're putting it in a little carrier, and that's what they made for Thanksgiving? Yeah. You're looking at her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to arrive with a couple of options of wine, and that's going to be what I'm contributing.
Well, and I think that's what we have to prepare for, because, this is a month-long preparation for the biggest meal of the year.
Yeah.
And the meal requires wine. Now, of course, if you're drinking beer and that's what you drink, that's fine. But it is most people, or many people, drink wine. So we got to prepare for it all month and kind of think in anticipation. And I know nowadays, I think people kind of sometimes cross over. They might do a beef tenderloin. They might do salmon or something like that, or have those as options on the table.
So let's say you are having Thanksgiving dinner for 8. How many bottles of wine do you need?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, first thing I would say to that person is, are they all adults? So
yes.
Are they all drinking? And my next question would be, are you serving anything else? Are you going to have cocktails there? Are you going to have those mimosas, the Bloody Marys first? So take that into consideration. But every bottle of wine should get about 5 glasses out of it, unless you're pouring all the way to the top. It's 25 ounces, so 4.5, 5 glasses. And then normally, you figure about 2 glasses per person.
Now, since you brought it up, a good reminder, we shouldn't be filling our wine glass to the top. You really want to make sure that whether it's white or red or rosé, has a little room in that glass, and there's a reason.
A wine glass does not have to be expensive, first of all.
Okay.
If you're listening and you're thinking, oh, my glasses are mixed matched and maybe not very expensive, that's fine. Just don't fill them up to the rim. So traditionally, a 12 to 16 ounce glass that has about 3 ounces of liquid of wine in it.
And what does that space do? Is it just allowing more air to get to it?
You know how when you picture a wine glass and it comes from the stem and it tapers up and then it goes straight up to the rim. That part in the bottom where it tapers up, that's for the wine.
Okay.
And once that stops, the rest of it is filled with aromas.
Oh.
So typically when you pick up the glass and you smell it, and then you taste it, that's where your enjoyment of the wine is going to come from. So the aromas have to be in that glass. Most of a glass is designed for aroma.
Got it.
So when you go someplace, or when at home you're filling the glass up to the rim, and I know if you had a rough day, that's what you're doing, but that's okay. You're not really, I got to tell you, you're not really enjoying it the way it's supposed to be, or it should be, You paid for it. Get all the enjoyment out of it.
And that is red, white, or rosé.
It is.
Okay, let's talk decanting. Is decanting just for red wine?
So, yes, it is in general. And I'm going to say for Thanksgiving, you got too much going on, and you're going to probably serve lighter red wines. If you are doing beef and you're going to do a Napa Cab or something like that, Napa Valley Cabernet, yes, you should probably open that wine before you start cooking.
Okay. And go ahead and put it in a decanter, or just open it and that'll allow it to get enough air?
Definitely don't just open it and put it aside. You got to get it out of the bottle and into something. Even if you just have a glass or two, you pour 2 glasses of wine, set all that aside, and there's still half the bottle in there. That's okay.
Okay.
It's going to get some air because you got some of the wine out of it, but just opening it doesn't do anything for the wine. But if you're going back to, you're going to have a white, a Chardonnay, and a Pinot Noir, yeah, the Pinot Noir needs a few minutes of airtime, but don't stress on it. You got too many other things to worry about.
So really, it's the cabs from Napa Valley that need the most time.
Yeah. And I also, would throw out, think about our local wineries. Missouri Wines, Chamberson, Vignol, even Norton. Norton is a stretch with Thanksgiving, but you're okay with it. It's a good time to represent our local wineries here, because those grapes go great with Thanksgiving.
Oh, that is a great reminder. Okay, so we'll be talking a lot more about Thanksgiving as it approaches so quickly. But I know there are a couple of fun wine and spirit events that people want to get on their calendar. We've talked about it before, and now it's too late. The label literacy class at the Wine Barrel sold out. So if you have a question about labels, they can always just email you at
Mike@wardonwine.com. And I'm glad to see classes selling out. That's going to be a fun one. But if you're thinking about, I can kind of give you an idea of what that class is about.
Yeah.
On the 19th, if you're the 19th of November, if you're in the Crestwood area, I know the Schnucks there is doing a big open house, and they'll probably have about a dozen tables. And they also have food. If you want to, events like that are where you can go and say, okay, well, I'm going to buy my wine on that event, and because I can taste everything, and then I don't have to worry about it.
What kind of money can we save if we do go and we buy at an event like that, or buy it by the case?
Yeah, and you should be looking for, in that case, you can get the 15% discount for the 6-pack at Schnucks. But there are other retail stores that offer a discounted price for events. That's a good way to take care of it. I will tell you that I'm out the day before Thanksgiving, and we'll talk about this more. I will be out in stores helping people. But, that's not really, that's like an emergency. That's like a panic purchase. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have you buy it.
Or a procrastinator purchase,
right.
which I might be guilty of.
I can't tell you, like one out of every 3 or 4 people I help on that day is someone who knows zero about wine, but someone told them, go buy, go buy some wine, and they have no clue. Like, that's not the time to do it. Give me a little bit more time with you, and I can help you out. You can save money, and you can get the right wines instead of a panic moment.
Okay, I'm glad that you just brought that up. Do wine prices go up as we get closer to Thanksgiving?
Well, I think we're safe in November now, where prices will be fixed in most places for that entire month. So I think you're okay. So I think what the tendency is for wines to go down a little bit in November to boost a little extra sales. So instead of buying a bottle, you buy 2. Which you're going to need anyway, or more. You're going to need a 6-pack for almost any family meal.
A quick reminder, if you do have those bottles of wine open for 2 days, need to drink them. Wine doesn't stay good as long as you think it does.
No, if you're coming back to them, and now we're in mid-December, we're going to definitely not going to last till Christmas, of course.
Right.
We're going to have to rethink that. So have a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, this show has flown by, but I don't know about you guys. I've learned a little something and I've had a whole lot of fun. Hopefully you guys did too. And if you have thoughts, requests, if you have an event you want us to mention, you can always reach Mike at...
Yeah, Mike at wardonwine.com. And thank you to the listeners because I'm getting some great response from this show. I'm still getting a lot of people saying, talk more about whiskey. So that'll be coming up.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, and that's something else for gifts and things like that we'll be talking about. But Mike at wardonwine.com. Keep those emails coming in, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can.
All right. Well, you guys, thanks for hanging out with us on this Sunday afternoon. Cheers to each and every one of you.
Cheers.